I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about
Use my fucking toes, not
Oh my God, I've just been talking and my microphone's been off the whole time. Okay, it's working. It's working for TikTok, but it just hasn't clicked into Instagram yet. Don't really know why. Oh, okay. Edit. Right. Let's try again. Let's try again for Instagram. One of these days, I will get there. Save. Right. Do. Yup. Deep, silent, repeat. I do not know what that means. I don't know what that means. Not linking again. I think it's getting there. I don't know why it's not. It's sending data to Instagram. Okie dokie. Hi, everyone that's joining. I'm just having technical problems. Okay. Save. Let's see if it's going to work for Instagram. That you were talking whilst on mute. Oh, yeah. I was. Hello, everybody coming in. I'm just having technical issues. Trying to get this to link up to Instagram. Okay. Who's joining tonight from the club? Maisie. So I'm just waiting for Maisie. I thought I'd get the live set up and going. Hi, Stacey. I'm waiting for Maisie to jump in, and it's having issues with Instagram again. So the first half of every single live is me having technical problems and all of us enjoying it. Me having problems with Restream every time. Okay. Yeah, technology. It's the worst. Okay. Right. Let's see if this is going to click in. I can see and hear you. I'm in a box in the grey. Ah, there you are.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm
Right.
on. I don't know if this camera's any good. I can do it on my phone.
Yeah, it's all right. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to link up to Instagram. It's having some Instagram issues today. So we may have to just go on TikTok.
Oh.
Right. Yeah, okay. I'll try one more time for Instagram. And if it doesn't want to do it, then... Okay. Right.
Right, I'm going to jump on my phone, I think, because I can watch my computer at the same time.
Yeah, okay. Right. Let me copy the stream key one more time. We'll try one more time for Instagram, and if not, we'll just go with TikTok.
Right.
Save. Right. Go to Instagram to edit the title. Let's see if this works. How many people have we got in here now watching me have these issues? Oh, bye, Maz. She's gone. I feel like everybody here from the early days of us trying to do this should get some sort of medal for attending the lives where I'm having all of these technical issues. Right, I think Instagram may not work today. One more time. Let's try one more time. One more time. Right, I'm on the grey box again. Okay. Save. Here you are. Hello.
Yay!
Right. I'm just trying one more time for the Instagram. One more time for luck.
Is it not having it?
It isn't today, but one of these days I'm going to get it to work and we can do both at the same time, like we're intending to. Can you hear Lumi moaning?
Yeah, she's having a hissy fit because she's been put in the naughty corner.
Yep. Yep, she is. She's right behind me. She's right behind me on the naughty corner. Okay. Now let's see. No, it just won't connect to Instagram. Okay. We're just going to be live on TikTok today, everyone. There we go.
Tickety tick tock tick.
Yep. Right. Can you see the comments that are coming up, Maisie?
No.
Okay. All right. I can see the comments on my
Hang
laptop.
on. Let's have a look. Messages from audience will display here. But I don't see any comments.
Okay. I'll just watch them on TikTok then. And so the presentation. Did you manage to get it sorted?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Do you want to present it or do you want me to do it and then you can talk about it?
Well, there's two types. I don't know if you had a look.
I haven't seen. Did you put it in the club?
Okay. I think
Here's Mike saying, Paige, you do realise that you are live on TikTok, right? Thank you, Mike.
so. I don't know if you want. You're going to have to do this because
Yep.
you have control of
Stop it.
Restream.
Yep.
So you're going to have to download it as an MP4, I think, and then put it into Restream.
Down. Thank you. Right, we're putting her back on her bed. What is it on? You can just send it to me and I can present my screen.
It is on Canva.
Oh, okie doke. You want to download it and send it to me? So, who have we got on at the moment? Who have we got on at the moment? I don't know how to see that, but hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching me get TikTok sorted.
Right, download.
So I think we're going to have a bit of a chat about structure, breed standard, all of that sort of thing tonight.
Yeah, it's literally going to take forever.
Okay.
It's taking forever to download, so I'm wondering if I can.
It's all right. I'll see if I can jump in on Canva.
You can public view link it.
Oh, yeah. Send me the public view link on Messenger, and then I'll just open it and share my screen.
Oh, well, I think I might have done it.
What are you doing down there? No, that's an invitation. Lie down, please. Lie down. Thank you.
Copy link.
Go.
Oh, we should have done this beforehand.
It's all right. We didn't do this beforehand, everyone, on TikTok, because we had a good idea to do it and just put it, like, Maisie's put the stuff together really quickly. So
well, Scarlett done it for me because I was doing tea.
Well done, Scarlett. Thank you. Yeah, so we just thought it'd be a good idea to come on and have a chat about it because we love talking about this stuff. So we're just all sorted. We could have got it sorted before, but we just decided to do this, like, what's the word?
Last minute.
Yeah, we just decided to do something. Right, lovely. Okay, how do I pause it? Okay, I know. Right, here we go. Okay. Here we go.
Oh, nice.
There we go. Right, let me see if I can. Nope, need to be able to see you. Okay, so they can see both of us and the breed standard at the top of the screen. Okay, can we see this, everyone? Okay. Or no.
No. It's not going to work.
Okay, here we go. Nope, we've got it. Right. There we are.
Excellent.
So it's at the top of the screen for everybody to look at. Okay.
So
hi, Natasha. We've got Natasha here. We've got Mike, Stacey.
Share the live, guys. Share the live.
Yes, share, everybody, please. Please
share.
share.
Share to your heart's content. Sorry, I'm going to put the phone back a bit more.
Okay.
Right,
so let's get started.
This breed standard is our own doings. This was designed by mainly Paige, with the influence from the Morsiani standard and the FCI standard, because if there's ever a time that the Kennel Club decide to recognise the breed, which it will do, when that will be God's gospel. Now, when the KC tend to recognise a new breed, what they'll do is they'll just pinch it from the FCI, and they might alter little things. So hence why we've gone for a combination of the Morsiani standard, a little bit in agreement between ourselves, isn't it, Paige, really, like along like the bites, what bites we'll accept, then predominantly the FCI standard.
Yeah.
Did you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you've got everything. So the small changes that we've made, I think we'll go through like on the slides for any changes that we've made to the FCI. We'll say it then. But what I will say is the changes that we've made to the standard are very small because there's already an existing standard that's accepted worldwide. But they are for functionality, not for any other reason than being functional. And that's why we've made a couple of changes, but we'll go through those as we go.
Yeah, definitely. So the classification under the FCI group, oh, you've got that one up.
That's all right. Carry on.
Is group 2, it's the molossoid, and it's the Mastiff type, the AKC working, and the intended Kennel Club group working. That's the intended.
I'll go back. Just tell me when you want me to go to the next slide.
I haven't looked at what Scarlett's done like that fully yet. Have I, Scarlett? She sat right next to me.
Go on, Scarlett. Thank you.
So, in our size and weight, you can go to the next slide now.
Okie dokie.
We accept from 23 inches in bitches and 25 inches in dogs. There is a no upper bound limit on that, and the overall structure of the dog is in balance. Weight should be in proportion to the dog. And there is a reason for that, and there's a lot of argument for and against dogs being too big, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is that the dog can still do a day's work. It can still do the work it was intended for. And I don't feel, especially now where dogs are getting bigger, it doesn't always necessarily mean it inhibits their ability to work.
Right, Nova.
I'm not sure if Paige wants to add anything to that.
No, I think you've got that spot on. Just stopping these two from laying all over each other. I've got a bit of an issue today with one just loving the other too much.
Fair enough.
Just won't stop hanging out together. Okay, so
Next one.
hang on, just wait. Why is it not coming up? Okay, here we go.
So do you want to do that one or do you want me to do it?
So I'll do this one. So general impressions wise, so according to our breed standard, it's a large dog with a commanding presence and a formidable expression. Surprisingly elegant in movement, yet structurally capable and vigilant, a working and guarding breed first and foremost. So with our standard, what we put first is the functionality of the dog. So it will always be that this is a working breed first and foremost. So all of these things should be functional. It is for the working purpose of the dog. So form always follows function. So it should be a working and guarding breed first and foremost. General impressions, it's important for dogs of the same breed should look relatively uniform. That's why we have a breed standard. But the impression that especially the head gives is very important to this breed. They shouldn't be reminiscent of any other breed. You should be able to look at a Corso and know that it's a Corso. And a lot of this is to do with the general impression and the expression.
Yeah.
Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I don't think so.
Right. Go to the next one. I've got to put Nova back on her bed. She's being silly.
No worries. Temperament. This is a biggie as well. So the temperament. First and foremost, the Corso is a dedicated, close quarter guardian dog, balanced in nature. Big one, balanced. The dog should be aloof to strangers, but accepting and affectionate with the family. Dignified in essence, the Corso should be courageous and able to think independently, is an adept problem solver, and enjoys training and work. Some degree of same-sex aggression may be accepted, but not favoured. By virtue of their history as a farm dog, They should accept animals with which they are raised, but may display prey drive in line with their hunting abilities. I think it's important as well to make a big discussion on the aloof, the meaning of aloof. And I think you're probably the best one to explain that, Paige, to be fair.
Okay, so aloof, a lot of people confuse aloof for outright unfriendly or even for nerve or aggression. It's not that. A balanced dog, a balanced Corso should be aloof. This means that they're not really interested in being everyone's friend, but there's nothing negative about that. They're not wanting to go up and make friends with absolutely everybody. They're not wanting to go and be friends with every single dog they see. They're certainly not labs. So aloof basically is just that little bit of personality that's saying, I don't really want to be involved with absolutely everything, but it's not fear, it's not nerve, and it's definitely not aggression.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. I'm just looking at the comments as we go through, see if we get any comments or specific questions about different slides. So Natasha said it's a very specific head, and then she said, just play my video, Maisie. Is that of Winston's head?
I think so. I believe so.
Right, Lily, stop being silly, you. Trying to keep an eye on the comments at the same time. And I've got these two being silly today.
Big silly babies. Right.
Do you want to
Okay,
take the next
next
page?
slide.
I'm just downloading another video to send over.
Yep, super. Head. I know Natasha's going to say something in a minute. No, the woman trying to say hello had Maisie in stitches. Oh, that's funny. Natasha's going to be excited in a minute because I'm talking about my favorite thing, which is heads. Okay. Head. Large and typically molossoid. The upper longitudinal axes of the skull and the muzzle are slightly convergent. So when you're looking at the head from the side, it's these axes here. So the nose and the head. So like that. I'm sure that was a really good demonstration.
Excellent.
Slightly convergent without excessive wrinkles. The cranial region, skull, broad and flat at the zygomatic arches. The width is equal to the length. So width is equal to the length. Convex in front, it becomes flat behind the forehead as far as the occiput, which is the little bump on the back of the head, the very top little bump. The mediofrontal furrow is visible, which is here, beginning at the stop and ending at about the middle of the skull. Stop. They're playing now.
Yeah.
Right, stop it, ladies. Ending about the middle of the skull. Stop is well defined with prominent frontal sinuses. So you should be able, a good stop, you should be able to get your thumb in it. Here.
Oh, God.
But as I say, the head should give the impression of the breed that it is. It shouldn't be reminiscent of any other breed. You should be able to look at a Corso and know that it is a Corso. So here we go. Number one here is the ideal male head, which is the top one here. Number two is the ideal female head. So as you can see, the females are a bit slimmer than the males, but they should still be a solid square head. There's a degree of difference between the males and females, and that should come in with size and overall looking a bit more feminine, but they shouldn't be weak with it. So there is a slight difference, but it shouldn't be extremely marked. Number three is a fault here. Hypertrophy of the temporal muscle.
Apple head.
Which I think is...
That's what I call an apple head, where it looks like an apple dome.
Number four, which is the one at the bottom here, This one is faulty. Flatness of the skull, top, and lateral temporal muscles are hyperdeveloped, and round eyes. So this is not a particularly strong head. And then number 6 here. Bones to evidenced aging head. So that one is lacking underneath the eyes here in these muscles. So it's kind of a very drooped head.
Can also that
It
can
doesn't-
also be relative to a snipey nosed face. So when I say a snipey faced dog will have a very narrow, very weak muzzle with very weak muscling. And it is really not desirable because the jaw's weak, there's no muscle there to protect any of it. And that is a dog that certainly would not be able to work and probably would pop their cherry eyes if they went to work.
Mm. Oh, Alex has just joined. Hi, Alex.
Hello,
We've got a comment from Natasha saying no boxer, and from Mike saying no lab.
Yeah, no boxer, so no hypertypes.
No, and as you say, none of this snipey nose stuff. Whether so you can tell very easily when they've got a small nose in the front, and you can see from the eyes it's going inwards like
Yeah,
this.
they look like they're cross-eyed, looking down the front of their nose.
Or polar bear noses
bear,
that come all the way
Yeah,
out.
narrow little
Back in
nostrils.
like this, the nose. Yeah, with a long snipey nose, and it curves back. It's not straight down. The nose is the furthest point on a polar bear nose. That is also very undesirable. Let me just check we haven't got any questions about this first. Okay, no, I'll move on.
Nice bit of reading next.
You can have that one then.
Facial it's going to go over what we've already said though. So the nose is black. A grey mask may have a nose colour of the same nuance. Large nose with ample open nostrils, which is exactly what we were just saying about polar bear heads. Nice big open nostrils, nice bit of funneling straight to the lungs to allow them to work easier and not suffocate. Nose placed on the same line as the nasal bridge. So where you've got your nasal bridge and your nose at the end, you don't want something that's looking like this, where it's crooked on the bridge itself. The muzzle, strong, square, notably shorter than the skull. Ratio muzzle, skull approximately 1:2, the front part of the muzzle is flat. The lateral surfaces are parallel and the muzzle is broad as it is long. Note, important, again, polar bear heads, snipey face muzzles. Jaws / teeth. Jaws are very large, thick and curved. The club do accept level, scissor and an undershot bite, but no more than 5 mil is accepted. The cheeks. The masterior region is fully evident but not bulging, in keeping with the squareness of the face. Eyes, medium-sized, slightly protruding, but never exaggerated. Close to ovoid in shape, set well apart, in an almost subfrontal position. Eyelids must be close fitting with minimal haul. The haul is the eyes that you can, the eyelids when they droop. The colour of the iris is as dark as possible, but according to the coat colour. Eyes range from dark hazel / brown to light hazel / brown. Expression is bold and serious, giving an air of valour. Ears. This is a biggie for me because I couldn't deal with ears in Jacks. Ears, triangular, drooping of medium size. What I cannot abide and what we see a hell of a lot of in the breed is these massive hound ears, which is hidden with crops. So a hound ear is when it's super, super drooping. It's got a nice, long, massive curve at the bottom. And it looks like the ears could pick up the scent as they're walking on the floor. It's not what they're made to do. So they should be.
And big droopy
Yeah,
ears.
can't deal with droopy ears.
Drag their head.
That's actually the dogs that will suffer from ear infections as well. So you want nice triangular drooping with a wide set on that as much as possible above the zygomatic arches. So sitting nice and tight to the head so the ears
Not
come
really.
down nice and close, protects the inner ear. Ears are uncropped. Dogs should have a crease down the center of the ear leather, allowing them to sit well forward when alert. Rose ears. Hate rose ears. Cocked ears, so ears that prick, or excessively large ears are highly undesirable.
Mike's put a comment here saying that
Yeah.
they can hear the smell about these big droopy ears.
Oh God, it's like big droopy, and there's the dogs going along. The ears are sitting on the floor. I can't stick it. That's what hounds are for, not Corsos.
Right, let me just jump up and put these guys out of the room because they're starting
No
to bug
problem.
around. Oh, you carry on.
So neck, strong, muscular, and as long as the head. Some loose skin may be observed at the base and underside of the neck, but this should never result in excessive hanging skin. Skin should be fairly adherent to the neck. Body. The body is somewhat longer than the height at the withers, sturdily built but not square, gives the overall impression of balance and capability. Withers should be pronounced, rising above the level of the croup, so that's the back. You've got the front of your dog here, the shoulders, and then the croup is like their backside, so where their hips are. Back straight, very muscular and firm. Loins short and strong. Your loin is from the last rib up to the point of the thigh. That's your loin. Croup long, wide, and slightly inclined. So none of this roach backs where you see the dogs are like this. Not that. Chest well developed all through, reaches to the elbow. Nice big deep chest, touches on the elbow. No longer than that. No shorter, no further down. Tail naturally set on fairly high, very broad at the roots, in action, carried high, should not exhibit excessive curling. Can't do that. Note, tails docked short, accepted as in standard on imported dogs, but a natural tail is preferred. That's that done.
So with the chest, one thing that we see quite commonly that's quite, I think if we go through and pick out some common faults that we can see with each bit,
Yeah.
to understand what we mean. So I think we'll start at the top, but chest, it's very important that the chest is well developed in the front and isn't just a straight from the neck straight down. You want to have a good amount of chest, the point of it being really bulgy, but you want to have a good, well developed chest, as Maisie said, to the elbow of the dog, but you don't want to be looking at the dog from the side and see that it's flat in the front, from the neck down, flat to the arms, and then a shallow chest underneath it isn't reaching to the elbow. That's very faulty.
Yeah.
And that's something that we see a little bit or fairly regularly as a faulty chest.
Yeah, and the movement, it affects the movement so much as well. They short stride on the front when they've got no chest on them because they've got there's just no front shoulder.
And in turn, when you have something that affects the front end of the dog, so in terms of shoulders, chest, arms, the back end will then compensate for that lack of good structure in the front, and you'll get problems in the front and in the back.
Yeah, very much so.
So with the nose, as we said, tiny noses are a big no. You want big, open nostrils. Alex said in the comments as well, love your visual explanations, girls. So we'll carry on with all of this. Muzzle. I think this is an important one. So a good muzzle is from the nose flat down. We don't want any of this nose and then curving outwards. that disrupts the balance of the head and betrays too much of an overbite.
Yeah.
And also polar bear noses again, out to the nose and down.
I am going to point on that as well, what you were just saying about the nose and the bite. The bite mustn't change the shape of the head. Like if you have a scissor bitten dog, it mustn't change the overall shape. At our last show, there was 4 or 5 dogs.
Mm.
The judge could actually put his finger into the mouth of that dog's closed jaw. So it was the bite was severely underbitten. He actually slipped. That looks really dodgy. He slipped his finger. Slipped his finger right through the dog's mouth whilst it was closed, and point blank disqualified him there and then. And they were only puppies. So what happens then is the lower mandible, so the lower jaw, grows faster than the top jaw. So the fact that that jaw's like this already, as the puppy grows, that's going to worsen. Major problem, big problem, that, because then it causes denture issues, abscesses in the mouth. Yeah, it's bad. So don't want to see that.
And functionally, on what is supposed to be a grip dog, if it's extremely undershot, it's going to struggle with holding that bite. And that is why, that's why we've changed from an undershot bite being preferred to having no preference over level, scissor or undershot, because actually a level and scissor bitten dog is going to have a much easier time really holding on to a bite. However, it's mainly about balance. So functionality is key with all of these pieces of the breed standard, but functionality really is the most important thing.
Definitely.
And that's why we've made that slight difference from the FCI standard, which prefers the undershot bite, to accepting all of these bites as long as they are functional and they don't alter the balance of the head. Cheeks. Again, the fault with that is just really empty down here.
Yeah.
You see it and it just pulls down like this.
Old really dog syndrome. That's what happens most of the time.
Yeah. We've got Stacey and Mike laughing at the at the jaw thing that you just did.
I didn't think of that. I was like, oh, that looks dodgy. Hang on. Iris. Not that I can do that to Iris, by the way. But I was going to show you her head. Iris! She's not going to come now. Where is she? She's a great example of this drawing in the muzzle. Iris! No, I can't do it. Come here. Come here. She's going to be sitting now. Right, come here.
Show us the baby. Hello, Iris.
But you see her drawed in around the muzzle?
Yeah, here.
Good girl. Oh, yes, no, don't like it. That's naughty. I'm not allowed to do that.
Iris is like, ugh, mum. Love that. Bless her.
Yeah.
So eyes, faulty eyes. There's a lot that can go wrong. Oh, look, there she is.
But you can see it. This is all drawn in.
Yeah. Oh, Iris.
This is a comparison.
I just love her so much.
Good girl.
Oh, she's got such a brilliant temperament.
She goes dead weight whenever you try and pick her up. It's bloody annoying because she's only light.
Oh, bless her. So eyes. A lot can go wrong with an eye. A lot can go wrong with an eye. So we have medium-sized, slightly protruding, but never exaggerated, close to ovoid in shape. So big, round eyes, no good. And also lots of haw. Also, this is going to be so unattractive of me.
Basically,
Right, so loads of horn like this, being able to see all of this redness down here, big droopy eyes like this, that's very undesirable. Also, eyes that are drifting out or eyes that are too close together. They're
Yeah.
supposed to be in a set position. They're not supposed to be all the way out here in different counties. They're not supposed to be in here with a small scrunched up face. They need to be there. Set well apart in an almost subfrontal position.
right. Do it.
So common issues with the eye. Cherry eye is a big one in the breed. A dog with cherry eye shouldn't ever be bred from because it can be genetic. It can also be caused by environmental factors like damaging these ligaments under the eye, things that put pressure around the muzzle, like misusing a Holtey or using a Holtey a lot of the time and putting pressure right across here where these ligaments sit. It can be caused by environmental factors. Most often, this is a genetic problem, and that is where the third eyelid, this ligament snaps, basically, keeping the third eyelid down, and the cherry eye protrudes into the eye and stays stuck out and has to be surgically removed. That is a conformational problem most of the time, and it's a genetic problem. They can be removed and surgery can be done on them, but a dog that has cherry eyes should not be bred from.
No, you can also get entropion with when you've got that fall of the eye where the bottom eyelid will curl in and the eyelashes will scratch at the eyeball. Thank you. It's not as common, but it does still happen.
We've got
So-
Natasha here. We've got Natasha here saying, I don't need to tell me about what can go wrong with eyes. Winston says, because I used a slip and a grot, and Mike's saying tight collars. Yeah, that can happen. It can happen. So putting that pressure around the head, it can be an issue. Putting that pressure around the head, it can be an issue. Sometimes we learn the hard way with it, unfortunately. Nora had entropion, as you know, had a nightmare with her. Oh, bless her. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that, in all fairness.
Nora's a fantastic dog.
I love
Fantastic. I love watching the videos of her.
Savage.
So ears already gone. We've already talked about what's faulty.
Yeah,
with the-
don't do ears. It drives me mad. It was one of my line's biggest pains in the asses. My dad brought in a pricked-eared dog, and it took me generations to get the bloody thing out.
Nora is an angry one. Love her. Super. Let's move on to the next slide then. If nobody's got any questions about.
Go.
Oh no! I almost accidentally came off the page. That would have been bad, wouldn't it? Right. 4 quarters. Here we go. So we've got a fantastic diagram of feet.
Feet.
So do you want me to do this one? You had a lot
Yeah,
of reading for
please.
this one.
I'm still watering my flute here.
So 4 feet. The front feet, cat feet. Toes, in keeping with the cat feet, toes should be neat. Excessive length or splaying, undesirable. So with this, obviously, this top one is a cat foot. Splaying, basically, is where these toes are spread out and the foot is flat. That's not desirable. Doesn't carry the dog well. Again, toes should be short. So a hare foot, for example, which is this one here. This
Top
is more
right,
This is more of a sighthound foot, and that is too much flexibility in the pasterns for this dog and too much toe.
You got to think it is your feet is what carries your shock. And if you've got a poorly put foot, it's not going to carry the weight, especially on those big dogs. It's your shock absorbing pads. Massive, massive thing, feet. And people forget. I find now with the Corso, people are so obsessed with either weight or heads, they forget everything else.
Mm.
You know, it's no foot, no horse. It's a big thing. People forget.
Yeah, and this is why nail maintenance is also really important, because a long nail can turn, where am I? A long nail can turn this top right foot into sitting back more like a hare foot, because when the nails are hitting the ground, it's pushing the structure of the foot back. Therefore, it's pushing the pasterns back, and everything that's going up the arm is angled off wrong. And also,
and you start stretching ligaments. Once you stretch ligaments, that's it. You've got a hell of a job pulling back.
Yeah. So we've got, as we said, flat foot down in the pasterns, so big flat feet. Splaying toes like this. And then what's this one here? Right, so that's the cat foot. I mean, that's not right. There. Hindquarters. The thigh, long and broad, back line of thigh, convex. So that's slightly like that. It's not quite straight convex. You might want to do a bit of a better hand motion for that, Maisie.
Oh, don't.
Natasha said, Paige, she's definitely talking about you with the heads. No, I do obsess about a head, but I do know that you can't forget.
Yeah, to be fair, Paige looks at the whole dog.
I do love a good head, but the hindquarters, that's another thing that people do. People look at these heads, and then everything behind the head just gets forgotten about.
Yeah.
Hindquarters is a really important one, because we see lots of dogs with very straight legs, not enough rear angulation. And in this breed, we have a problem with ligament tears. But we'll get there as we go through the faults.
Yeah.
So, thigh, long and broad, back of the line of the thigh, convexed. Lower thigh, strong, not fleshy. Stifle, which is the knee, solid, moderately angulated, and the hock joint, moderately angulated. The rear pastern, thick, 90-degree angle from the ground. Hind feet, slightly less compact than the forefeet. So, with the rear pastern,
your back foot should look like your hare foot, really.
Yeah. So it's slightly less compact, but the foot should be hitting the ground. So if the foot's here, the rear pastern should be like this.
Yeah.
Not like this. We shouldn't be stretching out the dog like that in a straight line. It should be foot, right angle, pastern, thigh, reaching up to the buttock and the tail. This is important because too much of this angulation at the rear will lead to sickling like this. So the foot's rounding like that. And too little will have your leg going down like this. Now with that, if you don't have enough rear angulation and the foot and the rear pastern isn't right, again, this is the shock absorbing of the dog. And then the shock that's going up that leg, that's where you get things like the ACL tears. With the ligament tears, it can also be due to lack of proper condition on the dog, lack of adequate muscle supporting those joints, and things like that. So a dog that isn't well muscled goes out, starts herring around, can easily tear something.
I'm going to make a point as well that people won't realise is when you're walking a dog on a lead, right, if you keep them on the same side, that dog will build muscle on the opposite side to what it is. So if you've got your dog on a right hand lead all of the time, the dog builds more muscle on the right side of its body than on its left. So always alternate what sides they're walking on if possible, because it knocks balance out.
Yeah. So gait and movement, long stride, extended trot. The preferred gait is the trot. At a walk, the dog prowls like a cat. This is also important because you don't want to have a dog running along looking like it's made of spare parts, like it was put together at a jumble sale. This is very important. It needs to be able to cover ground gracefully and fluidly at a walk, a trot, and a gallop. This is to do with the hunting, and again, the dog needs to be functional above all else.
Mm.
Yes.
Are you waiting for this face? Isn't
No,
my brain's twitching?
I know what you're thinking. I know
Yeah,
what you're
go on.
thinking. No, I know what you're thinking. Natasha said, luckily Winston is the zigzag king.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. So
Bane,
again, the movement
go
is
on.
very important. Very important. You want a dog that looks graceful, that
Yeah.
looks like it's floating. The movement is like elegant and effortless. It's just beautiful. And then the skin, fairly thick, rather close fitting. Your dog shouldn't look like it's wearing a dress of its own skin. And I can say that because Nova has a bit too much skin. When she sits down, she wrinkles at her thighs. She's got a lot of skin. It should be fairly close fitting and thick. You don't want to be covered in big flappy wrinkles everywhere, even on the neck, the underside of the dog, all of that. Do you want to add anything before I change slides?
No, it's all right.
Okie dokie.
I won't bring up the Campbell.
You can if you want to.
Well, a biggie is when you see dogs that are moving with the same legs at the same time. So when their front and back feet are like this and moving at the same pace on one side of the dog, it's effectively called pacing. That's not what you want to see. And actually, if a dog does that, it's usually because there's either tension in the back somewhere or there's a skeletal problem, especially in dogs that are naturally meant, their natural go-to gait is an extended trot.
Yeah. Additionally, with that, you've got bunny hopping. So bunny hopping is where in the back, in the back, they're moving with both the rear legs at the same time. So they're not like one leg. The rear legs are going at the same time, like a rabbit. That's indicative of hip dysplasia. So if your dog does that, it needs to be checked.
Yeah.
So on to coat colours. We touched on it the other day in the other live. This should not be controversial, but unfortunately it is. So let's get into it.
The most basic of things.
Yeah. Oh, we've got Natasha saying, Stacey, Maisie can do a fabulous one. Oh, a Corso trot. They want you to run.
Oh, no, listen, the only time I run is when there's cows out. That's the only time I'll run.
And the only time our committee member Zach runs is after.
Nanu got himself lost in the woods the other day whilst I was on a live with Natasha. Did I run? No.
No, he found his way back. And then we've got a comment saying, in come the Merle owners. Right, here we go. Do you want to...
Come on, Merle. Let's be having you. Let's have a discussion about the M locus. Come on.
Yep. So do you want to take this slide?
So it's up to you. I can do. So the hair, the coat, the hair should be short, shiny, very dense with a slight undercoat. I don't even know how to say that word.
Vitreous.
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 Couldn't you just come up with an easier word?
So it's like glass in appearance or physical properties. So it should be undercoat of vitreous texture. I don't know. But that's what FCI says. That one. We just didn't change.
Fair enough. Let's go and Google that. Right.
Yes, but none of this.
The way I see it is it's an undercoat that's a little bit more dander than the top coat.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be to the extent. Yeah, it shouldn't be to the extent that when the dog is shedding, that it comes out in clumps of undercoat. It should just brush and fall out, not like stick on the dog.
Yeah, like individual hairs rather than clouds.
Yeah.
That's how I like to put that.
Colours. Black, which is Nero. Grigio, which is grey of all shades. Fulvo, which is red of all shades, from light wheaten or fawn to deep red. Paige, you're better at explaining this. You just make it much easier. Go on.
Okay, I'll jump in. Right, so Fulvo. All Fulvo dogs, so all red or fawn dogs, and because this is an Italian breed, we use the Italian words in our standard, and that's a nod to the original standards. So all Fulvo dogs will have a black or a grey mask. The technical name of a black masked fawn dog is Fulvo con Maschera Nero, which is a black masked fawn dog. But we know this by the shortened term Fulvo. All dogs must be masked. A Fulvo dog with a grey mask is known as Formentino. So that's what we all know as the kind of the red dog, so fawn red with a blue-grey muzzle. So the brindles that are accepted, so Tigrato Fulvo, Tigrato Nero, Tigrato Grigio, which is fawn brindle, black brindle, grey brindle. So brindling on any colour, red, black or grey, they are all accepted. In Tigrato dogs, which are brindled dogs, fawn stripes can be of different shades. In fawn and brindle dogs, the black or grey mask on the muzzle should not go beyond the line of the eyes. So this is here, up to here. Shouldn't have masking going up into the forehead. So it should be a nice mask around the muzzle. A small white patch on the chest, the tip of toes, rear of pasterns, and on the bridge of the nose is acceptable. So none of these big white splotches, big white collars, no excessive white. That doesn't exist in the breed, and it's indicative of a mix. So fault-wise with these, any colour that is not black, grey, or fawn is a fault. There's no such thing as lilac, chocolate. What are some other ones that we've seen?
Mel.
Oh, yeah. There's no such thing as lilac, chocolate, merle.
What else have we seen?
We've seen some crazy ones.
There's
no such thing as a red Corso that does not have a black nose or a grey nose and grey mask. There shouldn't be red dogs with red noses. That is not a Corso. So fault-wise, again, with the coats, the actual texture of the coat itself, a coat that really lacks shine, that could be a nutritional problem. But quite often when you have dogs that are bred dilute, so their parents, grandparents, so on and so forth are all dilute colours, you start to lose the proper texture in the coat. Now, this is a problem, not because it doesn't look as shiny or as fancy as other dogs. It's a problem because of the functionality of that coat. In rain, in drizzle, in snow, in water, that coat will get waterlogged very, very quickly. The dog will get soggy and cold. So that is not a functional coat. No,
and they also can't get rid of the heat so well.
Yeah. So the type of coat is very important. And that's not because of a certain look. It's because of, again, the function of the dog. It's not vanity that we want it to look a certain way. The dog needs to be able to work. So just to recap, black, grey, which some people call blue, black, grey, fawn, brindle on all of those colours, black or grey mask on fawn dogs. Nothing else. Nothing else. Here we go. So we've got some questions. What about chestnut brindle with a black mask? So chestnut brindle is effectively brindle over a fawn coat, isn't it?
It's just a deeper red, isn't it?
Yeah, so that is chestnut brindle is a colloquial term that people use. We don't use that in the breed, but brindle over fawn, which is the red colour, is accepted, yes, with a black mask. We've got a question here. What's carbon? So Carbon is a fawn dog with a black mask and lots of black hairs along the body. So it's got the appearance of basically the like carbon along the back, up the legs, more on the face. That is undesirable because the mask isn't very clear. And as we can see here is, where is it? So where is the bit about the mask? Here we go. So the black or grey muzzle on the mask should not go beyond the line of the eyes. That's why Carbon isn't accepted. If the dog, for example, is an exceptional dog in all other ways than its coat, Carbon is not disqualified. It's just not preferred. It does exist in the breed. It will be penalised for its coat, but you can still put a dog that is Carbon in the ring.
Carbon dogs also breed very muddy. Unless you're putting a Carbon dog to a black dog, they breed muddy. So they breed dirty coats, basically. Iris has Carbon on her, but it's not to a massive degree that it doesn't also affect her mask, and it only is seen in like the summer. But yeah, Carbon dogs breed muddy dogs. Muddy dogs, dirty, washy coats.
Yeah. So we've got Natasha. White is not standard either, girls. So I think which is the really light cream coloured coat that appears white or very light cream with no mask. So a black nose, but no mask.
Yeah.
That is not standard. That's not standard because there is no mask. So the very light colour in and of itself, the light red cream, that colour in and of itself is not a massive issue because that's one end of the E locus. Cream and deep red are all on the same locus, which is the E locus, and that's the red colour. The problem with straw dogs is the lack of masking. All dogs should be genetically masked. It does crop up, and that is a disqualification. So we've got a question here saying, what does mask mean? So it's this colouring here around the nose and the mouth up to the eyes. On all black dogs and all grey dogs, you won't see the mask, but genetically it's there. It's just because it's the same colour as the dog. You will see the mask on fawn dogs.
Yeah. That's probably why people don't realise what it is much. If you actually visit our website, the top picture is of Iris, who's a fawn with that masking.
Yeah. So we've got, I've never heard it called Carbon. Sable is what I know it as. So it's
Same thing.
Yeah. I've never heard of Carbon either. Holly says she's learning a lot from this live. Thank you. Feel free to like and share the live so that more people can jump in.
I'm glad my buggering about isn't wasting people's time.
No, we've got 11 people in listening at the moment, so I think people are actually really interested. So Marisha's saying, what if a dog is grey and has a darker shade of grey along their back? That's fine. It just shouldn't be
quite normal.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like a big, very obvious strip of a different colour, but it is pretty normal.
It's a dorsal stripe. Marisha will know what a dorsal stripe is. You get it in horses.
Oh, we've got Loran Laszlo come in. Hello. His dog was at the show. She was a lovely black dog.
The Italian import bitch.
Yes, I think so, yeah. Yep, she is lovely. So we've got Mike saying, why are the majority of Corsos black or grey? So in history...
Popularity.
Pardon?
Popularity.
Yeah. People seem to really go crazy for the grey colour. In history, different colours were preferred for different jobs. So hunting dogs, hunters tend to prefer the brindle. There's also, so one of the names of the dog throughout history was called Cane de Pagliao. I don't know if I'm saying that properly, but that translates to straw stack dog. So they would use fawn dogs, not straw, fawn dogs to sit with stacks of hay and straw in the field, and they were guarding that food so that people wouldn't come and steal the bales of hay and straw. They weren't necessarily livestock guardians at that point. They were guarding the hay and the straw, so straw stack dogs. So the fawn was preferred for that.
I know about 6 years ago, everybody wanted a black Corso. That was the popular colour. And now everybody's going along the lines of the dilute, so the blues, the formies, etc., etc. And then we've got the merles and the things over there. But it goes through stages of popularity and colours. What really disappoints me is finding a good fawn now is like a needle in a haystack. Like, when was the last time you seen a fawn that wasn't Iris?
Yeah. And we love Iris. Iris is 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Or they lack the mask. They're breeding them, but the mask just looks really muddy. It's not bang in your face.
And it kind of shrinks back down to just around the nose and the lips.
Yeah.
Like eyeliner, I see it as sometimes. And that's not desirable either. It is very difficult to get.
If anybody wants a hint to breed that, get a black and a fawn.
Yeah.
Put those two together.
This ties into it. Stacey's saying, does colour affect breeding? Yes, it does. So you're definitely the brain on this one, Maisie.
So when you start dabbling with dilute colours, it also affects the pigmentation of the skin. So what you'll find is if you start breeding dilute, you'll start losing the black/grey pigment on the bottoms of the dog's pads, and it will start turning like a pink colour. If you continue breeding dilutes, it could be blues, it could be formies. What happens is that pigment will then start losing around the eyes and around the ears. Once you lose pigment around the eye rims and the ears, you've basically got blind and deaf puppies. It's the pigmentation that has an effect on how dogs hear. So yes, colour does affect breeding. And I wish people would stop playing with dilute genes that they don't understand what they're playing with, because it's not fun.
As a general rule of thumb, a dilute should be bred with a dominant coat colour. So, for example, a grey and a black.
Yeah.
You shouldn't carry on doing grey and then grey and Formentino and then grey and another grey. That's where you will get into problems. Colour dilution alopecia is also an issue with that.
Yes,
where the hair just falls out. We've got Lorand saying, is it a common thing that my dog has a leg injury while playing fetch? Yeah, it's fairly common. So we went over this a few slides ago, but we'll make a bit of a video about this. So when they're, depending on the angulation in the rear, they can have more issues with ligament tears, but it is something that is kind of existing in the breed anyway. It's quite common that people are having these issues. So yeah, it is semi-common. You've had a dog that's had surgery, haven't you, Maisie, for those issues? And
double TPLO, but frustratingly something like 4 years apart. The other leg didn't go that quick.
Yeah. So I knew I either wanted black or black brindle. Black brindle was my favourite. I knew I wanted grey, which is Holly. Formentinos are so rare. Grey or black for me. Sky's saying, so is it bad if the dog has
fawn is the most rare, not formies.
Yeah, for a good fawn is the most
rare. Really rare to find.
So Sky is saying, so no, this is Marisha. So is it bad if a dog has pink on their pads? So a lot of pink and a lot of pink everywhere else, yes, is an issue.
It's a double dilute.
Yeah, a tiny spot like this, not going to cause you enormous problems. Nova has one poor pad with like a little pink spot on it.
God, no, I wouldn't worry about that. And actually, when you look at her lines, she does have a lot of blue in her.
Yeah.
But when you start, it's like a double dilute gene. When you start going double dilute, double dilute, double dilute. And then what happens is that pinkness, they'll burn their pads real easily. So no, a little pink patch is not going to hurt.
Marisha is saying, can you explain eyes, please? Is there a limit on droopiness? Should you be able to see any of the pink? So the eyes should be tight fitting. You can see a bit, but it shouldn't be like where you see some dogs that are like St. Bernards where they're like this. It should not be like that.
No.
It should be actually like a little bit, but not an awful lot.
Her eyes are fine, Marisha. Don't worry about it. Her eyes are fine.
Marisha's saying, oh, that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to go to the next one because the color is always a very popular one. Okay, so faults. Here we go. Faults. This is definitely your territory, Maisie.
What? No. I'm not cruel.
To everybody on TikTok, I've never heard Maisie fault a dog. She just is a lover of everything.
Yeah.
No, so the faults are important. So when we're talking about faults with a dog, we're not saying that the dog in and of themselves is faulty or rubbish or whatever, but faults exist because, as I've said, the functionality is the most important thing. Faults are the things that take away from the functionality of the dog. So they're faults because we don't want them to be awarded in the ring, because we don't want them to be desirable to breed from.
Yeah.
Form follows function. We need a functional dog.
Yeah.
So any departure from the foregoing points, which is everything that we've talked about, should be considered a fault, and the seriousness with which the fault should be regarded should be in exact proportion to its degree and its effect upon the health and welfare of the dog and its ability to perform its traditional work. So severe faults: axes of muzzle and skull parallel or very marked converging. So these are the noses that go up. So the stop is down and they go up. Partial depigmentation of the nose or snow nose. Again, this is to do with loss of pigment. Undershot bite more than 5 millimeters. This again affects the work. Ringed tail in vertical position. This breed was traditionally docked because the tail can get injured in the line of work that they were supposed to be doing. So that's why this is a fault. Permanent
not curly tails. Not curly tails.
No. Permanent amble when trotting. That's
what I was on about earlier on.
Yeah, that belies problems with the conformation and the structure of the dog, which is causing them to not be able to move in the correct way, which will cause problems in their joints later on in life, and it also affects their ability to work. Undersize, self-explanatory. Tiny dogs. Exaggerated features, also known as hypertype. So these very big, jowly heads, the big, exaggerated, curved muzzle with a big underbite, or dogs that are... So sometimes you see this just in the head, but you can also see this in the whole body. So a hypertyped feature is something that's been overdone. So you can have an overdone rear, which results in sickling of the hop. That's the problem. Or chests that are too big and too deep. That is a hypertyped chest. Or dogs that are not functional because they are just too big is not the word. Dogs that are too kind of
large in frame.
Yeah.
Big boned.
Yes. Lots of bone is important, but too much is also a problem. Yeah. Presence of rear dew claws. So most Corso won't have a rear dew claw. Some do. They can be born in litters that don't have rear dew claws, but it's a fault because they can be caught when working. So those are the severe faults. Now, disqualifying faults. So all of those things above, you can show a dog with. They will just be penalised severely for those faults. These now are disqualifying faults. So if your dog has any of the following faults, they would be disqualified from the ring. Aggressive or overly shy dogs. This is self-explanatory. We did also have a few dogs that were disqualified on a temperament basis from our first show. Temperament, the most important thing for dogs, full stop. Really. You can't have a dog that has a really poor temperament to be bred from.
Yeah.
Any dog clearly showing physical or behavioral abnormalities. Again, self-explanatory. You wouldn't put an unwell, lame, or otherwise damaged dog in the ring. Or Pastor wants to come and get involved. Or again, a dog with behavioral problems or temperament abnormalities. Excessive brachycephalic appearance, muzzle length totaling less than 33% of total skull length. This is an outright disqualification because it is important to not fall into hypertyping of the head.
To give people that don't kind of maybe understand that's the type of dog that people label as having boxer blood in it. I have yet to find any kind of evidence that suggests that the boxer was brought in, bar than some of the lines that are seen in America, but not generally in Europe or the UK. It is literally a concentrated breeding on one part of the dog that's just gone overboard. That's all it is. It doesn't necessarily mean there's another breed in there.
Yeah. So where are we? Okay. Axes of muzzle and skull diverging. So instead of it going down like this, it's going away like this. So a big slopey nose. Total depigmentation of the nose, again, to do with lack of pigment. Bridge of nose concave or convex, which is a Roman nose. So if the dog is really lacking stop here and the head is fairly smooth, that is a disqualifying fault.
Rustic.
It goes like that. Yes, this is commonly seen in dogs. I will just say it. This is commonly seen in dogs that are marketed as rustic. And these are disqualifying faults because of the weakness in the head, which removes the dog's ability to function properly in work.
Yeah.
So rustic dogs are quite often confused with working line dogs. There's no breed split for starters. So these dogs should all be able to work even if they are show bred, even if they are the puppy of 2 conformational champions. They should still have an ability to work. That is very important because this is a working breed. So there's no such thing as working line. There are dogs that are more commonly used. There's no such thing, though, as show line and working line as a breed split. Therefore, there's no such thing as a rustic working line dog. There are dogs that fit the breed standard and work, and there are dogs who do not or don't work. It's as black and white as that. So these faulty heads tend to be marketed as that in order to sell dogs, which is why one of the reasons that people are looking at dogs and not able to tell what it is. It's very important that we have this kind of education, which is why we're on here, because we're really passionate about the preservation of the breed. It's one of our core missions: preserve, protect, promote. So an overshot mouth, that is the top being longer than the bottom and being able to have a gap between the top and the bottom jaw.
Parrot mouth. That's what they sometimes call it as well.
Yeah. So we've got some more depigmentation here. Walleye, which is blue flecked or strabism. Squinted, so eyes that aren't looking where they need to be. Tailless, too short tail. Surgically altered tails due to docking or happy tail are permitted with the correct documentation. These things are only permitted with the correct documentation. Tailless or too short tail. So so the tail is a continuation of the spine, effectively. So the spine stops here, but the tail carries on. If you have big problems with the tail, then you can have problems with the spine, which is commonly seen in breeds that have double corkscrew tails, which is why that's an issue.
Yeah. And when they say tailless, that's effectively a bobtail, which is also genetic. You can selectively breed for a bobtail, but we don't want that in the breed.
No. Semi-long, smooth or fringed hair. So again, this is to do with non-functional coats. They are a short double-coated breed. All colours not indicated in the standard. Merle, Isabella, coloured points such as tricolour, liver, chocolate, straw, white or very light coated, maskless coat colours, over masking such as carbon. Large white patches, white collar, white tipped tail. So especially the white patches, disqualification because they do not exist in the breed. Cropped and docked dogs where no documents have been presented to verify the legality and location of the procedures. So if you want to show a cropped and docked dog, we need to see that they have a passport and therefore it's been done in a legally permitted country and properly.
And they will be scrutinised, those passports. So any false passports will be picked up.
Yes. And male animals should have 2 apparently normal testicles fully descended into the scrotum. Again, important that they are normal. So people with intact dogs should be checking the dogs to make sure that they don't have anything abnormal going on there, because that, like, obviously that's a health risk.
Yeah.
Okay. End of presentation. We got there to the end. Thank you, everybody that stayed for the whole thing. I think
How many people are left?
we still have quite a few. Actually, hang on, where are we? So we still have 12 people. So we have lots of people.
Thank you for not getting bored of us, guys.
Everything that we've said. So that's amazing. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, so that has been an hour and 20 minutes, the breed standard.
And that's not really all of it.
No, that's kind of an overview without all of the really in-depth diagrams. The diagrams that we've had, I think, were perfect. So thank you to Scarlett for
she's gone bed.
Oh, well,
I
Scarlett.
was doing tea, so my 14-year-old daughter made that up. My 14-year-old daughter, who knows more about the breed than some of these mole owners.
Yep. So yeah, I've learned a lot. Thanks, guys. Looking forward to more lives. Thank you, Holly. So yeah, we've had quite a few people. Sorry, I might have missed it, but do you get disqualified if your dog has a droopy tummy or teats?
You want them tight as possible, and the best thing for that is hemorrhoid cream. It will tighten the skin back up if you rub it on. But it's not necessarily a disqualification, no.
Yeah, so if you present your dog in the ring, they should be in good condition. And that obviously means, so Sky obviously is a good weight and everything like that. They should be a good weight. They should have a healthy, shiny coat. So things like being obviously having had a litter, that's not a disqualification.
That's
the dog
just normal.
The dog just should be presented in good condition. That's the most important thing. So not being overweight, not obviously looking terrible, not having dirty teeth. Obviously, Sky is beautiful, but we did have some dogs that had dirty teeth.
Yeah, that's one of, by the way, like that is one of Darren's absolute pet hates is placky teeth. He likes nice clean teeth on his dogs. And he will check as well.
Yep. And teeth that are not the right colour, teeth that seem, even if they're not placky, teeth that seem grey, a bit see-through, dentition, that is indicative of a breed-specific condition called DSRA, which can affect the size of the dog, the teeth of the dog, and the eyes of the dog. So if the teeth look a bit funny and they're not like obviously dirty, then it's worth getting anyway, but a DSRA test to rule that out.
Which can be found at the Bocklin, and it costs about £40. It's really easy to do. They send you out your swab. It's a big cotton bud. Stick it in the side of the cheek, swab it around, stick it back in, post it, done.
Same for Embark. So Embark DNA have now added DSRA to their panel. Thank you to the efforts of a few people over in America who were pushing for Embark to add it. So they do their DNA. Obviously, if you have a purebred dog, the DNA is not really what you're too bothered with. But they also run a panel of over 260 genetic health conditions in the same price as the DNA test, and that includes DSRA and a number of other things that we are looking at in the breed, such as ALT levels. That's something that I would like to keep an eye on, and a number of other things, really. So that, again, is something quite important. So either Loboclin for DSRA only or Embark DNA for a full health panel. Are we talking original Cane Corso or the modern day Cane Corso, as the original are not shiny? So obviously the coat has to be functional. This is oh, I have an Embark test kit here actually for DSRA. It's free to order. Oh, cool. We'll have to look into that.
Nice.
So,
who's asked the question about the coat?
Lee GKO. Oh, Lee G Kobe Cane Corso 1. So the Cane Corso is one breed. There's no difference between the original Cane Corso and the modern Cane Corso. The standard that was written was an idealized version of an average of what they could see. It didn't represent all of the different dogs there at the time. It was an average of those things to breed towards. What we prioritize in our breed standard is functionality and the ability to work. Functionality and the ability to work. So that includes having a coat that repels water effectively, allows the dog to get rid of heat, and isn't too isn't cloudy in the undercoat. It's not missing that top coat and with a really wet coat. When you lack a certain amount of shine, now we're not talking these dogs should look like they are made of glass, but when you lack a certain amount of shine, that can be nutritional, but it can also be a lack of that top coat that repels the water. So it's really important that if you're looking at the dog, they should have a functional coat.
If I'm going to add to that, if you've got a dog that's shedding out in clumps, like a Labrador coat, where it sheds in clumps, the hair's not coming out as you brush it, that's a Neo coat. That's not a Corso coat. If you look at the old Neo, you even look at the Neos now, even though they've gone excessive on wrinkles, if you look at the working Neapolitan, the coat that comes out in the clumps that doesn't have the shine to it is a Neo coat. That's not a Corso coat.
Yeah. And just going back to the original question again, I just want to kind of put in there, the issue with talking about original versus modern is the fact that there was actually no homogeneity really in the original dogs. So thank you. Just wondered, as Breber said, they shouldn't be shiny and the original had no boxer in them. So Paulo Breber, so Paulo Breber's kind of legacy with looking into this stuff is really important. But the functionality of the coat of a working dog should be first and foremost. But going back to the original, the comment about the original, there was not really any homogeneity in the original sample of dogs. So if you look at dogs like Tipsy, and then dogs like Dauno, and dogs like Basir, they all looked very different, and Tipsy was Basir's mother. So all of these dogs look very different. The Di Casa Leone dogs by Umberto Leone and Leonessa, they all looked very different from each other. So what they had was an idealized version of the measurements of all of these dogs based on what they could see in front of them from taking these measurements, and an idealized way to preserve this breed. There was no homogeneity, so you can't look at photos of old dogs and say, well, this is this and that is that. So no. It's kind of
back then they also would have bred the best working dogs. They wouldn't have necessarily looked at the type. They wouldn't have necessarily looked at the head, the feet, the way it moves. They would have literally just paired two of the best working dogs they had together because they had a job to do.
Yeah, so we've got a comment here saying salmon oil in the diet, best thing for a shiny coat, and Marisha saying fish is amazing for coat. I just want to quickly plug a product that I love. We're not affiliated with them whatsoever, but Pure Flax.
We're
I
working
love
on it.
Yeah, Pure Flax. Somebody give a shout out to Pure Flax, tag them, share it. But Pure Flax I love, and it's an alternative to fish oil. It is cold pressed, bottled at a small farm, I believe, up in Yorkshire. And it's a fantastic product. Some dogs have fish allergies, some dogs don't like fish, but it's an alternative to that fish oil that has higher levels of omega-3s and 6s. And they also do joint supplements as well from the pressed, what's it called? After you've pressed it, you have what's left over. So Pure Flax is a really, really good product for coat condition and joint health. We've also got coconut oil is better than salmon oil for coat. So yeah, oil is important in a dog's diet, basically. I don't know if you want to add to that, Maisie. We both use Pure Flax, don't we?
Yeah, to be fair, I was using, because I've noticed with black dogs, they tend to get a bit of dandruff down their backs, the bottom of their backs. So I've been on ProDog Shine for absolutely years with Coda. Changed over to Pure Flax because Paige was getting some good results from it, and I can honestly say, hand on heart, and I never thought I'd say it, it's better than the ProDog stuff.
Yeah,
I'm really, really pleased with it.
Yeah, Pure Flax is something that I absolutely swear by. I love it, and I think it's fantastic. So Marisha asked a question about ears, which I kind of went past because I wanted to answer the original question. So ears and ear shape, is there a specific shape or way that they should hang?
Yeah, so in a bit of a triangular kind of deal, really. So you want them triangular, close to the head, with the leather fold in the middle, so they sit tight. When they sit tight against the head, it kind of protects the ear canal from anything. So like you going back to their working kind of aspect, where you've got dogs that are guarding straw stacks or out in straw fields, when you get the husk off the ends, have you ever seen that? The little spikes? If the ears are nice and tight folded like this, it stops the husks entering the ears. So you want them nice and tight to the head. I prefer ears that go not too far past the corner of the eye. Nothing massive, nothing that's kind of where the fold is away from the skull. I see that quite a lot now. That's the preferred. So nice and tight, nice sitting tight to the head. Or did you just want me to do this?
So we've got Lee saying, cheers, great knowledge. I've been studying as much as I can. Good to hear your views. Yeah, thank you. If you want to know any more about kind of what we as a club say about the breed history, especially, that is available on our website, www.iccgb.co.uk.
I think Marisha's linked it in the profile.
Oh, actually, oh, cool.
I think.
Marisha saying, I'm basically asking if my own dog has any disqualifications at this point. Bless her.
Don't ask me. Don't ever, if you don't like your dog being judged, don't ever ask me anything.
When Maisie has no faults, when Maisie can't fault a dog, I start looking around for pigs.
I can literally pick on every dog, even my own.
Yeah. But it's very important because we don't want to be blindsided by our own dogs or things that we just like the look of. It has to be, again, a functional dog. So Pure Flax online shop. Yes, it has an online shop. GSD Mally Dad, she can't fault Klaus. I don't know if you know who that is.
His ears.
So yes, Pure Flax has an online shop. They also have TikTok, so feel free to look them up in the search bar and go and have a look at some of their videos. But it's a fantastic supplement. I use it myself. Maisie uses it. We're not affiliated with them, so we're not earning
No,
any
I'm working on it. I am working on it.
yeah, we're not earning any commission from saying this. But I also recommend it as a behaviorist to all of my clients. And the guy that takes the phone calls, I think his name is James. He is really nice and really helpful with any questions that you have about it. What about Faust, Maisie? That's Mike asking if Faust has any faults.
I told you, don't ask me.
We love
Don't
Faust.
ask me.
His ears are perfect. Kion. I don't know who GSD Malidad is. What's your name? I probably know your
That's
name.
Nathan that grilled another Facebook profile the other day
Oh,
because he
that's
didn't
you.
agree with their ethics.
Yep.
It was Nathan that had an issue with his dog's bloody ears not standing up. So I said to him to tape them, and then they stood up, and then they kind of done this at the ends. I don't know if they've changed any more, Nathan, now. I haven't looked at him for a while, to be fair.
They tip like a smooth collie.
Yeah, don't tell him that. He'll get upset.
Sorry, don't take it personally.
No, I do like him, though. He's a nice dark Mallee. If I was to have a Mallee, I'd have a dark one.
Yeah. He said he's fallen in love with them now. Hi, Nathan. I'm glad I know what your name is now. So I don't have to just say GSD Mallee, Dad.
Have we got any more or not?
I'd like to see if mine has any faults. Well, Holly, if you would like to have
Don't
it,
send me a picture. Send one to Paige.
yep, or you can send it to our email address, info@iccgb.co.uk.
Yeah.
And if you
Also,
haven't, everybody here, sorry, Maisie, if you haven't, everybody here, visit our website to sign up as a member. And also to register your dog. We have a breed register and an activity register for dogs that don't have any history.
please like and share as much as you can. We have a lot kind of in the pipeline, but we need members. And we'd like to get a few shows going, some events. We've got a gala coming up, a charity gala. Very exciting. We've got loads and loads of stuff coming up. And we'd love to get as many Corso owners as possible to join because it'll be fun. It'll be fun. There'll be something for everybody. We've got the lure racing. We're looking at the obedience stuff.
There are some very
very
exciting things. We've got a few things in the pipeline here. So Holly says she's going to join up tomorrow. We would love that. Ethan saying might get a Corso to join. Well, you know where you can find one. Visit the accredited breeder list on our website.
Yes.
Can't wait for the next show. We're looking forward to seeing you again. That would be lovely.
Who is that?
That is Lorand.
Hi, Lorand. Yes, we'll be doing another show.
Would need some decent drive though. I know where you can get one of those.
What's that?
So Nathan's saying if he was to have a Corso, it would need a decent drive, and he says only one place I will go. Yes, it's not your list; it's straight to Maisie. Well, that's where I went. She is the best of the best.
Not all the time, no. I upset a lot of people.
Only with legitimate things that they should probably be upset about.
Yeah. Fair.
So yeah, I don't think we've got any other questions coming in now. Thanks everyone for sitting and listening and paying attention while we talked about the breed standard. That was brilliant.
Yes, and tune in next time. We're getting Marisha on to speak about Sky, which is super interesting. She's just signed up to be a qualified therapy dog. So Marisha's going to talk about her journey with Sky through all of that, and visiting some patients with some people. What was it? Macmillan.
Yeah, Macmillan.
Yeah.
We are
Stay
very
tuned.
proud. We are very proud of Sky. She's done a fantastic job.
Brilliant advocate for the breed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think we will give a bit of notice of the next live. We just jumped on today because we love to talk about this sort of stuff. But I think we'll give a bit of notice next time. So if you see, I've seen on the pages she's fab.
Yeah, you have to give me better notice next time because I ain't washed my hair. That's why it's like a
No,
fluff.
I haven't either.
I
I've been
combed it.
still in my work jumper, natural balance dog training on the south coast of
Nice.
England. But yeah, so we will do a bit more notice next time. But thank you everybody for
Excellent.
jumping on, for watching, for asking questions. It's been really good to chat to you all.
Yes, thank you ever so much.
I think we'll jump off now and let everybody back to their evening. Bye. Bye.